What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and today we're taking a look at the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus. And here's the deal. There may not be a ton of new features with these phones, but there are some notable changes happening here. The question is, are these features enough to make picking one up worth it? Obviously, there's only so much you can expect from a smartphone these days, but let's take a look at what makes the iPhone 7 fresh this year before we make a decision. First off, we gotta address that jet black. Now, that along with the black color variation are new this year, and while the matte black stealth status is awesome, something is super attractive about that sleek glossy look of the jet black model, but dem fingerprints. I'm a big fan of this color, but it's slightly broken out of the box with its lack of resistance to scratches and scuffs. If you don't want to deal with all that drama, don't get this color, or you can do what Apple says and cover it up. You can pick up a skin from D-Brand for some light protection, but if you're in need of something a bit more, Kadabi has some pretty thin cases that'll give you full coverage without the bulk of an actual case. And the Veil is pretty dope, and if you want to pick one up for yourself, I will leave a link below for you. As you can probably tell, the design is pretty much the same all around, and while that's not really a bad thing, I think a lot of people were expecting something different. There are some small hardware changes though. With the home button, there's not actually a button here anymore, but a fixed surface that, when combined with the new Taptic engine, provides a clicking sensation, though it's nowhere near what it feels like to actually click a button. Also, many of you will be happy to know that these fresh new iPhones are now IP67 dust and water resistant, which might make Apple the last to add this to a smartphone. One thing that's lacking from the design though is a headphone jack, and personally I'm not too happy about that, but luckily there are some decent headphone solutions that connect via Lightning, and I made a video on that and I'll link it below in the description if you want to check it out. But what do you think about Apple removing the headphone jack? Hey, at least they include an adapter in the box, right? Alright, so let's talk about the rear camera action. Apple is notorious for having top-notch cameras across the board, but this year, there are just subtle improvements. Now, the iPhone 7 packs a 12 megapixel camera with larger pixels and an f1.8 aperture, which is a step up for sure, but I haven't seen a noticeable difference in the picture quality really. With the iPhone 7 Plus, there's a bit of a noticeable change on the outside as Apple has integrated two cameras. There's the same f1.8 wide-angle shooter on the left and a 2x telephoto lens with up to 10x digital zoom on the right, but it packs a slightly subpar f2.8 aperture. Now, switching between the two is easily done in the camera app, and while the feature is cool, it's definitely not necessary or mind-blowing in my opinion, but you'll also be happy to know that both the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus have upgraded 7 megapixel front-facing cameras if you're into that kind of thing. So this year, Apple stepped up the audio game on the 7 and 7 Plus with stereo speakers, but not exactly what you'd expect. So there's a speaker in the earpiece and one along the bottom end, and together they're technically stereo sound, but honestly the placement here feels a bit off balance to my ears. You can just tell that they're both not front facing. It's certainly better than one speaker though, but definitely not a reason to upgrade. One big improvement with the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, and certainly an area that Apple always excels in, is performance. These phones are fast. The A10 Fusion chip inside runs laps around previous generations and tops off its Android competition. Now, there are 2 gigabytes of RAM inside of the iPhone 7, while the iPhone 7 Plus packs 3 gigabytes of RAM. Performance is solid though, and definitely something I'm eager to explore in the full review, so be sure that you're subscribed to catch that video when it drops. So let's answer this question. Does the iPhone 7 suck? Well, no, but it's also not the most exciting release we've seen this year, and that's fine. I mean, it may not be packed full of upgrades, but with enough hype, anything will sell. I'm definitely a fan of new Apple products, but I'd pass this year if I were you. I mean, what do you think about the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus? Let me know with a comment below, and leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, like I said, subscribe for my full review dropping in the near future. Thanks again for watching, everyone. This is Dom, and I'll catch you in the next video.